Hello and welcome to episode 67 of the Breaking Yarn podcast. My name is Michaeli. I'm from Albuquerque, New Mexico, and this is my podcast where I talk all about my knitting, my crocheting, and my yarn dyeing. You can find me online at breakingyarn.com or anywhere on social media at Breaking Yarn. Today I have 2 finished objects, 2 whips, 2 future cast-ons that I'm going to talk about, and an acquisition. So let's just jump right into it. Do you remember on last episode when I said I felt like I was forgetting something? I did. So one of my finished objects on this episode is actually from last time that I forgot to share. So we're gonna start with that. My first finished objects is my Shell Yeah socks. This is a pattern by Leah Gibson of Leah Loves to Knit. She is hosting the Seaside Sock Along 2025 over on Ravelry. And so that's what these socks are for. This is her pattern. It has little shells on the front of the sock, which are actually really fun to knit. And the yarn that I used is from Granite State Yarns. And this was a sock set. This one that I did the heel in was called Beach Vacation. The mini that came with it was Frozen Margarita. I did that on the cuff and on the toe. And I should note that I actually did a star toe on this because I just prefer the star toe. That is a deviation from the pattern. And then I found this alternate, like this other green color that I was able to use from Granite State Yarns as well. It was called Spring Meadow. And so the whole idea with the Seaside Sock Along that Leah is hosting, it goes until July 31st. You can knit any socks in any pattern, but you get extra points if you knit one of Leah's patterns like this. And your yarn should be somewhat beach themed, beach or vacation or something like that, or sea, which is the beach, I guess. But yeah, so mine, Beach Vacation, Frozen Margarita, and then the Spring Meadows was a coordinating color that I found to work on those. So those are my first finished object. And yeah, I love how they turned out. And this is what I was forgetting from last episode. So now I have those done. My next finished object, or my second finished object rather, is a new Musselburgh beanie. This is a pattern by Isolde Teague. And I knit this in a colorway from my shop called Jane Margalis. So it's just the black. And I knit the adult large size. And the brim folds up like that. And I knit this for the Summer Sailor Stitch Along 2025 that I am hosting over on Instagram. It is a make along for hats for sailors. I believe this might be their last year collecting hats for the US Navy and the US Coast Guard servicemen and women who are out on cruise ships. So these hats will keep them nice and warm while they are out to sea. And I think I mentioned it last episode when I talked about the stitch along that I'm hosting, is that my dad used to be in the US Navy for 22 years. So yeah, you might not know that about me, but I am a retired Navy brat. So this organization who sends hats to sailors was just something that I resonated with since my dad was gone on deployments a lot when I was little. But here's my first hat, the Musselburgh, and this one is so, like, anyone could love a black hat. Like, how perfect. Yeah, but the Musselburgh is a wonderful pattern for hats. And if you want to participate It's a make along that is going until the end of August, so August 31st. You can mail your hats to me and I will make sure that they get to Hats for Sailors. So that leads me directly into my first whip, which is in a bag by So Crazy Crafter. This one was a box from Mandy's Makings with donut. It was a donut themed box, a share a pair box, I think. And, or maybe it just had two 50-gram skeins and then like a bag and a charm, I believe, and maybe a few extras. But so this is from maybe 2 summers ago, but it's cute. And it is it's holding my whip, which is another hat for Hats for Sailors. This one is the classic ribbed hat. Whoops, I just lost a stitch. Oh my gosh. Hold on 1 second. Okay. Whew, let me move those needles back a little bit. Okay, so this is the classic ribbed hat pattern by Pearl Soho. It's a free pattern that is a 1x1 rib the entire length of the hat, and it should be able to have enough to fold up as well once I get there. I am holding this yarn double. It's a DK weight pattern, but this yarn that I'm using is fingering weight. So I am holding it double and pulling from the middle and the outside at the same time. I still have quite a bit of yarn, so I'm just gonna keep going until I get to the decreases to where I feel like it's enough, and or I measure it and it matches what the pattern suggests. But this yarn is from Twisted Owl Fiber Studio in Austin, Texas. This is a skein of yarn that I've had in my stash for quite a while. My friend Lisa gave this to me. And this colorway is called Two Face. But I thought it looked pretty like patriotic, and especially with it being held double, it has a lot of beautiful colors in it: red, black, white, gray, blue. So it looks pretty patriotic, but when it's marled together like that, it doesn't have any pulling or anything else. And I actually really love how this is fitting. I think I'm doing the adult medium. I'm pretty sure I'm doing the adult medium. So I have a little bit, obviously, a little bit more to go before starting my decreases so that this can be a little bit taller. But I'm actually really enjoying how this is looking and how this is fitting. So I may end up making more hats like this. So again, that is for the Summer Sailor Stitch Along 2025. I also set aside a few skeins from my stash that I felt like could be really good for the Summer Sailor Stitch Along, just so I always have a hat like pattern on the go. This one also by Twisted Owl. It's called Mr. Freeze. Then I have this Yarn of Enchantment from Long Dog Yarn. This is the November colorway from the subscription that I did. Another Long Dog Yarn. I liked the green with the brown. Kind of remind me of like army colors, even though this is the Navy and Coast Guard. And then I have this one from Long Dog. This one's Billy the Kid. And then I also had this one from Ritual Dyes, and this one's called False Indigo. So I figured any of these would make great hat options for my next hat. So maybe let me know in the comments which one you think I should make next. So I have one more whip that I am currently working on, rather slowly, I must admit. This is in a bag by, hold on, it's RobinznestKnits. And Leah of Leah Loves to Knit, she also has a new podcast that she just started here on YouTube, so you should go check that out. But she showed this bag on her channel and I thought it was super cute. Obviously it's unicorns and flamingo floaties with donuts. Super cute. But it is holding my sock whip. I am knitting my pattern, the Saul Goodman socks. So far I have the cuff done, and then I have most of the leg. Let's see. Yeah, so I only have 2 more repeats on the leg to do before I'm ready for the heel turn, or heel flap, I should say. And this one has a half linen stitch heel flap, so it's been a while since I've knit that, so it's going to be exciting to knit this up again. I had a skein of Saul Goodman in my stash that was not good enough to sell, but good enough for me to knit a sample out of it. So I am using that. This is Saul Goodman, and I do have a few skeins available in my shop right now if you were interested in that. And this is my Saul Goodman socks pattern. And this little charm with the little sock is from Monster Knits. Her little, I think, is it on Etsy or does she have a website? I don't remember. But this is a little sock blocker stitch marker that's 3D printed. Super cute. Okay, so now there are 2 KALs that just started that I want to join, and I want to talk about them and the yarn that I'm going to use. So the first one is the Treasure Hunt Socks KAL, and this is hosted by Nitty Bitty Sisters on Instagram, and their idea was so fun. I was like, I want to join in on this. Their idea is that we are trying to find sock patterns on Ravelry that have less than 10 projects. So they're kind of those hidden treasures, hidden sock patterns, hidden treasure, treasure hunt, try to go find a pattern that has less than 10 projects. And they suggested and it has to be more than a year old. So it's not a new pattern, and more than a year old and less than 10 projects. I think those are all the requirements, and no whips. Since you have to go and like find a sock pattern that doesn't, that meets all those requirements. This is a make along that they are hosting on Instagram until August 31st. There are 3 patterns that I found that I could potentially knit for this make along, and I will share them in case you are looking for a sock pattern that meets the requirements. All 3 of these that I'm going to share meet it, and by the time this comes out, I will have already started one of the projects, hopefully. Okay, so the first one is the Rainbow Road Socks by my friend Lauren of Granite State Yarns. This is a free pattern that's actually on her website. So it's not a PDF download, but it only has a few projects, and it's just barely over a year old. So I thought that would be a cute project to do for this KAL. The second one is the Clementine Socks. I will put the details on the screen because I don't remember the name of the designer, but I believe these are a few years old and there's only a few projects. And I thought they were super cute, and the little cuff ruffle is crocheted after the fact. So the third option is actually the one I'm gonna make, which are the You Matter socks by, I forget her name, but her website is Always Be Kind Yarn. And she designed this sock pattern because her daughter actually committed suicide when she was 25. And I haven't shared this here, but I actually have a connection with suicide as well. So I felt like I wanted to make these socks just to let people know that you matter. You actually just double stitch on top. This is also a free pattern on Ravelry. It's a very basic sock pattern, and you double stitch a semicolon on the leg, and then you also double stitch "You Matter" on each of the socks. And I think they have it on the top of the sock, but I might end up doing it, depending on how it looks, I may end up doing it on the bottom of this sock, just so it can, like, other people can read it, like if I'm sitting down. So that's my idea. That's the sock pattern that I'm gonna knit, I believe, at least first. I am gonna use this. This is from my stash. It's a self-striping yarn, I believe. My friend Danielle of Midwest Stitches, she also has a podcast here on YouTube. She sent this to me as a part of an exchange that we did. I sent her some yarn and she sent me some yarn, but I thought this is super pretty. I'll have to look up to see who this is, but I also have Holly White coordinates pretty well with that. And so I was thinking I would do cuff, maybe heel and toe in this as well, but definitely cuff. And yeah, I might experiment with the cuff instead of doing the cuff in the socks pattern, but we'll have to see. But I thought this would be really cute. And then if I want to, I could probably outline the semicolon and the words in black, just so that it stands out a little bit more than these would on their own. So that's my plan for the Treasure Hunt Socks KAL. More on that later. The last project that I am planning on starting is the Shine Bright KAL. This is a brand new free pattern right now from Under the Olive Tree Knits. It seems like every year, or maybe every year, she comes out with a free one skein project, shawl project that is available as a free download during the KAL. So I think I'm going to try to participate this year. The pattern looks super cute with the diamonds, and it's a very simple one skein shawl pattern. And I think what I'm going to do is knit it out of this brand new colorway that I am going to be bringing to my shop soon. Sorry, I'm just trying to even it out a little bit, but this is going to be the Vamonos Past colorway. This is from Breaking Bad, when they take over the Vamonos Past company and they tent houses. In the show, usually they tent houses to fumigate the house, to take care of like bugs and that sort of thing. And in the show, they started setting up shop for their meth lab before they had a permanent one. They set up shop in these houses to cook their crystal meth while they were being fumigated, since they were already being fumigated. And so they'd put these giant tents on top of the house. And the tents were these colors, yellow and green. And so I've actually had this colorway like as an idea for a long time and just haven't dyed them up on my new bases. This is a really old base. I actually don't even remember what the fiber content is. But I just dyed it up again to make sure I understood what my notes said, and I got it. So I will be putting out more information on this colorway and when it's available in my shop, but you should be able to see what it looks like knit up once I start that shawl pattern in this colorway. I thought that would be a really fun sample, I guess, to knit up, and something that I can show kind of what this colorway would look like knit up as well. So that's my plan for that Shine Bright KAL. I don't remember if there is a like when it needs to be finished by. I guess I'll have to look that up so that I can make sure that I meet all the requirements for that as well, if I want to enter actually for prizes. Hello, it's future Michaeli. I forgot to share my acquisition. It's this boba tea bag from Gabs of Slip Sis. Isn't that so cute? This is the large size. She's doing a lot of made to order bags. So I think that's it for episode 67 of the Breaking Yarn podcast. Thank you so much for spending a little bit of your time with me. I hope you have a wonderful day, a wonderful week, and we'll see you next time.